Hello class, welcome to week 3. We're working with Excel again. There's 5 items that we're going to practice today. The first one being locate data to copy, paste, or cut from a workbook. 2, find and replace data. 3, identify Backstage View. 4, prepare a workbook for printing. 5, format, date, and time. So the first item that we have for this week, working in Excel workbook, we're thinking of this from the perspective of working in a doctor's office. And we have patients that come to the doctor's office, and we frequently need their contact information. So the first thing we want to do is locate data to copy, paste, or cut from a workbook. So let's go ahead and select on our ribbon, Find and Select. We'll select the drop-down arrow. Once we select that, we're going to select Replace. And this speaks to our step 2 as well, using the Find and Replace feature. So if we look at column I, row 1, we see that we have today's date. And we want to find that. If we were working in a large workbook, sometimes it's hard to find information in the workbook. So we're going to type in today's day. We want to find it. And what we want to do is replace it with date. So we're going to say replace all. And you can tell how many replacements were made in your document. And it says that 1 replacement was made. So we'll say OK. We'll close the Find and Paste. The other way to do this, if we were working in this document, we could delete what was here by pressing the Delete button on our keyboard. And we could replace it with date. Or if we needed a date to show up in several fields, we could hit Control Copy and also paste it in row J by saying Control V, and that is using the keyboard. So where we have date, let's use that Find and Replace feature once more, and we're going to say Find, and let's find date. It's going to find it for us. Now we want to replace it with date seen. That means we're looking for when were they seen by the doctor. And we're going to say replace all. And you can see that 2 replacements were made. We say OK, we close it down. So now we're going to figure out how to identify Backstage View. And how to go to Backstage View, you will select File. And when you select File on the ribbon, you see that it takes you to, this is what we're seeing, Backstage View. In Backstage View, we can prepare our workbook for printing. So we can select the print option. And we can tell it if we want it to only print the active sheet. Or we could tell it to print our entire workbook. Or if we have a cell selected, we could tell it to print the selection only. And you can see how each one of those changes occur. If you had a larger workbook, you could see the variety there as well. And we can also change how large it is printing if we need to print an envelope versus a letter, legal, or other options that are available to us when we're preparing to print a document. We can also adjust our margins. So let's say we want to make this wide. You can see that when we make it wide 1-inch margins, we lose some of our information. The next thing that we want to do is to leave Backstage View by pressing or selecting the arrow at the very top left, and that'll return us to our spreadsheet. And the next thing we're going to do is to format the date and time. So we're going to use formulas to complete this task. So you see that I've moved from date seen in column I to column I, row 2, where I can enter the data that I want using the formulas. So we're going to go select formulas, select date and time, select date, and we want to put in our year 2017. We're going to say July, and we're going to say our day is the 1st, and say OK. And now you see you have a date entered for when the patient was seen. We can also drag on the right hand side if we had multiple patients seen on that date, and you can see that it does a date field for you. Hopefully this information was useful for you. This completes our study for week 3. Thanks.